When I was a sophomore in college at Mizzou, which is about 120 miles from St. Louis, my mother got sick, and she has given me permission to talk a little bit about her life. She was not thrilled, let me just say that I was talking about her life, but she also understood that things that happened in her life affected my life. So my mother suffered from depression as I was growing up. And there was a time when she was hospitalized when I was a sophomore, and it was right before finals week. And so basically I decided to transfer schools for the next semester and come home so that I could be home to help to care for her and also my brother, who was several years younger than me. So when I did that, she was in the hospital for a month. And it was around Christmas time. I don't even really remember what happened during that time other than we went to the hospital. And as I speak about in the book, we had uncomfortable little visits and we just kind of tried to make it through. So the day that she got out of the hospital, she had been in the hospital for 30 days. She was ready to be out of the hospital. And I can't really blame her. And mind you, my mom was only about 35 then, so way younger than I am now. Or maybe she was 30, yeah, maybe 35, 36, something like that. And so she wanted to go to a supper club. And I was like, no. And she was like, I'm the mama. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't go. You just got out of the hospital. And she was like, I'm going. And I was like, well, if you're going, I'm going. Now, I was 19. So actually, since I was 19, that actually means my mother was 40 because she's 21 years older than me. So anyway, we go to the bar. And they weren't carding because they weren't expecting me to be there, so that was fine. But I mean, I was already in college, so I did order amaretto sour. That's just the reality. You know, parents, if you don't know, your kids probably do drink in college. And so we sat down, and there was a trumpet player, and he was playing his horn. And my mama was enjoying him playing the horn. And then he was playing, and she was singing, and it was one of her favorite all-time songs. And so they just connected, and I saw it happen. And afterward, they connected, and they stayed connected. And I didn't like him, and he didn't like me, and that was immediate. And so basically what happened is, over the course of a couple of years, our lives changed because of her relationship with him and me not having a relationship with him. And it culminated by the time my senior year happened. There were some things that happened in our household, and I had to come back to St. Louis and basically rescue my mom from him. And that was kind of hard because I was young, and I had a roommate who was also involved, but it was real. And what I want to say is I love my mother and I respect her so much, and I appreciate that after I wrote the book and I actually read her the book, she was able to clarify what happened and why things happened. You know, she still wasn't thrilled that I was talking about it, but she understood that as a 19 and 21-year-old person who's going through these things with her over the course of this years, that affected the way I saw love, that affected the way that I saw her, it affected the way I saw men. And I was hurt because I knew my mother was a loving person, and I felt like she just got caught up with this guy who was a trumpet player, and he was from St. Louis, but he had been in Hollywood living his dreams, and he was really good at what he did, and that meant that he was good at seducing women too. So that's kind of the story. Without telling too much, I just want people, I guess, I told the story because I want people to understand that all of us have human needs, and we fall in love with who we fall in love with, but we shouldn't always follow our heart. And I learned that not from my mother, but from me. Because when we follow our heart wants what it wants, but that does not mean it's good for us, our mental, our physical, or emotional health, and it doesn't mean that it's good for our brains and what we're doing in life.